Hello, this is Slow Udder coming at you live from Slow Udder Acres. Wanted to go through seating position on motorcycles, so I'll use mine as an example. We're going to start from right to left. So we got the Royal Enfield Himalayan 411, and that's a 2022. We got the 2023 Ducati Diavel V4. We have the 2023 Royal Enfield Continental GT650 that I kind of made into a cafe racer. And then we have the 2024 Panigale V2, and we have another twin 2024 Panigale V2. So I was going to show different riding positions on each bike and explain some of the differences in the way they handle. This bike has 1,000 miles on it. It's already had the 651 mile first service, and it's been re-up mapped by the factory to get the full performance. This bike is still in the pre 650 mile mode, so it has the factory, what I call the break-in map. So it's still it pretty much redlines at 6,000 RPMs, where this one's at 12, and I'll explain that. It doesn't necessarily not that you do it, but it holds back quite a bit because, you know, it's a new motor, you want to wear it in. So back to the seating position. So on the Himalayan, and it turns out this is the order I purchased the bikes in. This is my motorcycle I got 2 years ago. So this is a nice, comfortable motorcycle. Like I said, it's a 411cc bike, and it's really comfortable. We call it the couch. So when you sit on it, it's just really nice. You sit back, really comfortable. It's a 5-speed. I believe it's got like 37 or 40 horsepower. It's really nice, dependable. This bike here has what does it got? I put around 4,852 miles on it. So, oops, that's because I have the kickstand down. Kickstand down. See if I can get this in neutral. There, neutral. So that was my fault. So it starts right up. So there you go. So this is my bike. If I want to go to the grocery store, I got the saddlebags I put on it. So I put some, I'll make a different video on all the stuff. So the seating position, this one's really comfortable. And then the second bike I bought was the 2023 Ducati Diavel V4. So obviously you go from a 40 horsepower bike to 168 horsepower. And I've done some up maps. I think this bike, it dynos in. I haven't done it, but other people done it with the same configuration. You get about 180, 185 horsepower with the up map. So this bike is pretty much like this bike, but not, I mean, it's pretty much that same upright position. So you're sitting pretty nicely. The handlebars are a little bit lower. And of course it's full naked, doesn't have the fairing, but this is, it's pretty comfortable. You can sit like this, which is comfortable on the freeway. Like, I don't put any weight on my hands. They're just kind of, they're laying here. So I don't, my hands, there's no vibration. It's very comfortable. And then if I want to get into it, I can sit like this. I sit up like this if it's the twisties. And again, I'm loose in the hands. I'm not grabbing it. You're not grabbing it like a fistful of cash. You're just, your hand is not even, and I cover the brake and the clutch levers. I think that's the safest way to do it. So I just, once you get used to it, you like it. And then also the grips they just hit this part of my hand. I'm not hitting the whole side part. If you hit that whole side part, you're gonna get numbness. Your hand will go numb. If you're grabbing it like this as opposed to this. I'm pretty much grabbing it like a T-Rex, loose, like it's a loose grip. And really, the only force on here is just, it's the weight of it's the few pounds of your arm. So you're holding your back straight, and you're holding your whole body. So even when I'm down on this one, I can get down like this, and when I'm going for it on like the freeway, like 120, 140, I get down, or I could even do that speed like this, but when I'm in the twisties, I get up, on this bike, you can sit back and ride it like this, or yeah. So that's the sitting position on this. It's a mid sitting position. So the Himalayan is the easiest. This is the next easiest relaxed position. Now the GT650 is kind of like the sport bike version, you know. It's a 650. It's got about 50 horsepower. I have put the Red Rooster exhaust on it and a few other modifications. The sidebar mirrors, souped it up a little bit. But this, now this bike, it's got the pegs are a little bit back, but they're not back all the way. So you can sit like this or like this. And this is pretty comfortable because it's got the clip-ons, but it's got about a 2-inch riser on the clip-on. So instead of being like this, you're like this, which is, it's pretty comfortable. You're sitting like this, and I usually ride it like this, like about this height. I don't lean down on it, but this is a good, Royal Enfield makes a good bike, this GT650, I love it. And I also put the cowling on it, and these mirrors work really well. So this is a fun bike. It's a 5-speed. It goes, it goes about up to 100 miles an hour, but on the freeway you can comfortably go 80 or 90 on it. It's not bad, but I don't ride it on the freeways. That's what I use my Diavel V4. So this is the next. So you got the Himalayan, which is up, the Diavel, which is here, and then this is a little bit farther down, but it's not like the Panigales, which are those true sport bikes. So these bikes you could drive to the racetrack, win, and drive home. So anyway, so these bikes, the Panigale, you sit like this, right? And the pegs are back. They're noticeably back. So they're really, the rear sets are really tucked up. So the Himalayan was like this, the Diavel's here, the GT650, and these are back up high. So when I ride it like that. And it's just as easy. You get used to it, your muscles. So there's 2 ways to ride. In my mind, there's 2 ways. There's 2 ways slow riders. Me and my son just went out together. This bike's up to 450 miles. We got the first service coming up in 5 days, so we're trying to put miles on this. You got to get up to 650 miles because they can't service it unless the light comes on. So if you bring it there with 600 miles, they're going to tell you to come back. When you got 650 miles on it. So anyways, so this bike here, you see these clip-ons are really low, which is always supposed, so that's so you can ride the bike like this. So, but typically on the freeway, even at 90, 100 miles an hour, or even on the twisties I ride, again, I don't put any weight on there. I have my hands, not like this, but rotated in. And I'm literally sitting like this. I'm not, when I'm riding it, I could be riding it like this, like my hands behind my back. And you want to keep your back, your lower back, you want to keep straight. You don't want to be hunched over like this because your back's just going to hurt. You want to keep your lower back kind of like you're doing a bent over row, like you do a bent over row. You keep that back, the lower part of your back straight, and it's actually very comfortable. It doesn't cramp. And it's different for different people, so you might want to work up to it, like do 20 miles and then 30 miles and then 40 miles and then 100 miles, 200 miles, and that's about, and you just work that up to your riding routine, and you get used to, you might be sore, you'll be sore in the ankles, but that goes away in a few weeks if you're putting miles of, it's like any new exercise, you have to get your muscles. So I would, so when I ride it on the freeway, I'm pretty much like this, looking forward. So you're riding it, shifting. And then the other position you can be on this bike is the full race position, which is where you're actually just, and that's actually pretty comfortable. You could just lay, I literally lay on the tank like this. But the only thing that, it's you got to work your neck muscles up to it. So I switch between the two, so I could ride it like this. And basically your hands are just, they're just laying here. with your either all four fingers or I use 2 fingers on each side to cover the clutch and the brake, and that'll save you hundreds of feet, you know, or 500 feet. It really increases your safety margin. So, but the problem with this position, your neck will get sore because you can't ride like this. You have to ride obviously like this. So that's why I tend to ride like this. Get that Superman. You want to show your chest like a bent over row, and then you lean over in that position, and it's perfect. And then you relax your shoulders and you relax your arms, and these just fall under the handlebars like that. And then you're literally putting like half a pound. You're steering it with very little force. Your hands are just on there, and then your throttle. I don't even hold the throttle. You're just, sometimes I'm usually just rolling it like this. I'm rolling it, or I'm not moving. This arm doesn't move, and I can almost fully accelerate without moving that arm. So those are the 2 riding positions on the Panigales that I do. There's probably more, but for slow rider, so I was going to show in this bike, but I did both on that bike. But I want to have these 2 out. I'll explain a little bit about the break-in. So on the break-in, this one's already had the first service. It's like I said, it's got about 1,000 miles on it. This has about 450, 500 miles. I didn't check. Let me see, what has it got? It has, 1 second, 480 miles. Just got back from a nice ride. So what they do is they pretty much rev limit it to 6,000. And so you want to shift up and down in the gears, and you drive it slow, and you're kind of bogging it, because now that this is broken, we ride this like cruise at 7,000, shift at 8,000 or 9,000. That's how I ride this bike and that bike, because that's what the Ducatis want. So, but you can't do that when it's brand new. So it feels like you're bogging around, but that's normal. But that's how it is. So once they do the first service, then we'll be ripping this one, you know, on the freeway, 7,000, 8,000 RPM, just cruising for like long, and then shifting at 8,000 or 9,000, because it red lines around 12,000. So that's it, slow rider out. Those are the different riding positions. The Himalayan is basically just like you would sit, very comfortable. We call that bike the couch. This bike here is very similar, but the handlebars are a little bit lower and the pegs are mid position. This bike here, the pegs aren't quite mid, but they're a little bit back, but they're still low. And then these bikes, of course, the Panigales are the full folded over. And I'm 60 years old, so I can ride any of these bikes. I mean, these are fine. It took me about 3 weeks to work my back muscles, my lower back muscles, but that's fine. It's like a workout in the gym, so you just get used to it, and you ride the bike every day a little bit, and you build those muscles up, and you're good. And just eat well, sleep well, and then you're in shape for it. All right, slow rider out.